In this world, Young-woo desired to become strong enough to conquer the entire Murim. His enemies cursed him, questioning if he feared God. Young-woo, on the other hand, questioned a god. According to him, he did nothing wrong to fear God. He only used the powers he acquired through his own hard work. And what's wrong with that? Declaring that it was fun being a human, he stated that his dreams had finally come true. Suddenly, another man entered the scene, questioning if he was truly a human. This man attacked with full force, causing intense shockwaves that shattered everything around. Even the self-proclaimed strongest in Murim, Young-woo, suffered damage. The man claimed that Young-woo was the embodiment of evil, saying this as he intensified his attack. It was a brutal fight between Young-woo and Shin-ryong. Shin-ryong was considered by Young-woo as his greatest enemy, having a complete advantage that day, being genuinely stronger. However, with just a moment's carelessness, Young-woo was struck from behind. Those were his last moments in that world. Shin-ryong, a man of character, chose this highly altruistic and noble method to defeat the greatest villain in history. Another reincarnation was forced to occur. Again, Young-woo aimed to conquer Murim, preparing for everything that could happen. But it seemed he couldn't escape destiny. That man appeared again. Shin-ryong, the absolute sovereign of the sword, blocked Young-woo's path once more. This time, however, Young-woo wouldn't allow history to repeat itself. He became much more powerful, engaging in another colossal battle. The destruction was utterly insane, yet Young-woo lost again. He had no idea that the man would resort to such a cowardly method as poisoning his sword to kill him. Every time he reincarnated, the man was there to prevent the embodiment of evil from spreading. Now, he is the leader of the Blood sect, also known as the God of Blood. This is the 5th time he has reincarnated. To prevent it all from happening again, he expanded his strength, crushing everyone one by one, starting from the borders. He trained to the point of transcendence just to defeat that man, and again, he was here. This time, Young-woo was waiting for him. Another epic battle unfolded. It seemed the man would win again. However, this time, Young-woo grabbed his sword and destroyed it, kicking him away and asking to be left alone. The man was persistent. Young-woo attacked with everything. The clash of swords was massive once again. Would the result be different this time? Young-woo claimed it was over, but the man said he would have to use his trump card to use all his strength to defeat him, even at the end of his life. He held Young-woo, preventing him from escaping. The sky seemed to be changing. A massive power was coming, capable of completely destroying a whole city. Again, his end arrived. And here we are, reincarnating for the 6th time, seeking to control the world again. Sometime later, in the city center, a woman searched for her son, furious, threatening to hit him. Suddenly, loudspeakers announced directly from the control room that a dimensional portal had been discovered at the city intersection. A Category 8 demon emerged from the portal, and soon the Singulars Association would arrive to handle the situation. At that moment, the mother remembered she needed to find her son. An enormous explosion occurred in a nearby building, and everyone was running as debris fell. The wreckage covered the entire area until finally, the monster they spoke of appeared. He was roaring, and his gigantic size made him visible from afar, injuring many. Among them was the mother searching for her child, desperately wanting to find her son Young-woo. However, she lost consciousness before achieving that. Suddenly, a well-dressed and smiling young man appeared on the scene. The still conscious population was relieved to learn that this young man was a singular. The enraged man told him to climb into the monster's mouth, stating that he wasn't there to kill demons or save anyone, confusing everyone. One of the men mentioned he's a singular, and singulars should defeat evil. The young man laughed, taking a bunch of money from the bag he carried. He claimed to be lucky this time, as the monster destroyed the bank, allowing him to grab all that cash. The population questioned if he knew how many fees they paid to the Singulars Association to take care of them, but he didn't care, attacking the population itself. People threatened to spread the news of his brutality, and he attacked again. He announced that he would kill the demon and then eliminate everyone to avoid false rumors about him. He was completely excited, asking if he wouldn't be considered a hero if he defeated the demon. Wouldn't he make a ton of money this way? Suddenly, a boy appeared behind him, stating that he would die before that happened. The singular mocked the boy, asking if he thought he would die just to a Category 8 demon. But the boy said that wasn't a Category 8 demon. When he thought about asking something, the demon was already behind him, ready to destroy him. He quickly realized it wasn't a Category 8 demon, but at least a Category 6. When the control room issued a notification that they made a mistake, and the demon was a Category 6, it was too late. The singular had been completely destroyed. The demon now turned its attention to the little boy and attacked with all its force, while the boy simply told the demon not to exceed its limits, as it would end up surprising his family and waking them up. The demon attacked the little boy with all its might, and the boy, mocking, said that the demon was quite strong. With a simple punch, he completely obliterated the demon. How could such a young boy possess such strength, enough to make a grade 6 demon's head disappear with just one blow? The boy said he would try harder this time, and in this life, when he meets his enemy Shinryong again, he won't allow himself to be defeated. 30 years ago, humanity underwent an evolution, and for some unknown reason, people were endowed with attributes resembling superpowers. This led to countries investigating these powers to comprehend them fully. The United States was the first to discover how superpowers could be amplified, but they kept the method secret, leading to a competition among nations to accumulate more information about superpowers. Then, 10 years ago, 20 years after the incident, this dimension suffered a distortion, causing rifts to appear. These rifts allowed demons to attack the Earth and its inhabitants. Man-made weapons had no effect on demons. Only humans with superpowers could defeat them, known as singulars. The young man was the leader of the singular team, named Park. He was surprised that a Category 6 demon was destroyed merely by brute force. When he checked the security cameras within a 5 kilometers radius of the area, he found practically nothing. All he discovered was that the Category 6 demon was destroyed by a simple little boy. This quickly leads one to think that this boy must also be a monster. He says that he might be a monster too because he knows another boy who recently emerged and also looks like a monster. And I think we already know who this guy is, right? Young-woo knows that this guy will come back to torment him, so he needs to get stronger urgently. If he reincarnated, the other guy also reincarnated. This time, he will give everything to defeat him. This life will be different. He will become the most powerful through training. He doesn't intend to lose again, until his mother calls him while he was playing, scolding him not to play in the morning. The boy tries to justify, saying that he's training. It's not just a game. This leads her to ask if he wants to beat up those boys again. The boy admits his defeat, saying he'll stop playing and fighting. She gets closer, asking if this is true, and he promises? The boy says yes, and she gets even closer, asking if he really promises. He confidently says yes, he definitely promises. In his past life, he learned how to kill and torture people, gaining power that way. But now, here we are. His mother was feeding him at that exact moment, but it's not like he hates this world either. Now, in his little school, a boy was saying that if they were scared, they could leave, and that was because today, this same child would face Young, our protagonist. The happy boy said he was the successor of the Golden River clan, the most powerful among the 8 main clans. One of the boys mentioned that he lost every time he challenged the protagonist before, and he said that's true. However, he won't lose this time since he asked his father to teach him a secret technique of their clan. Using great force in his leg, he prepares to use the blood iron fist on the tree, striking. He says this is the Golden River clan's secret technique, and it really seems very powerful. The tree was completely crushed by the boy. All the boys were very happy, even saying he was the strongest in kindergarten, and he said it was obvious since he is a descendant of the Golden River clan, and he's doing all this because the protagonist humiliated him in front of his little girlfriend. So, he swears he will never lose to the protagonist again. The boys with him questioned if the protagonist would really show up, until he appears out of nowhere, saying yes, he will appear. All the boys are shocked to discover that he was there all this time. Besides, he accepted it well and didn't even get nervous after seeing his blood iron fist. These kids are very powerful for kindergarten. The boy said none of this matters. He is prepared and has an ace up his sleeve if necessary. On the other hand, the protagonist thinks that he will never beat him. Now we're at the Golden River clan's house. There's a party going on at this place, and as he said, the protagonist really showed up. The host of this party was that boy from school who was challenging the protagonist. Everyone at the location was very happy with his reception, only our protagonist wasn't paying much attention, until he hears several people celebrating someone's arrival. The person who arrived was Yuhara. She seemed to be very popular among the other guests. The host, upon seeing that she arrived, came running to greet her. The protagonist found this depressing since in kindergarten, you can't even tell boys and girls apart. She congratulated him on his birthday, and he thanked her, until she noticed someone's presence. She noticed that our protagonist was there, and came to greet him in person. All of this started to make this spoiled brat completely furious. He quickly started yelling for the protagonist to stay away from Yuhara, and then we switched to the Golden River clan's office. They were discussing that the leader's son asked him to teach a secret technique today because he wanted to beat someone, and this was the father of that boy who was now asking if he had lied to him. The assistant chief in the Golden River clan tells the leader to let the son make his own choices since today is his birthday. The leader then tells him to stop with the lectures, as he already understands the situation. The assistant then asks if he still has that Fisher core. He said yes, asking if there's a problem. The assistant says yes, it's a problem since Fisher cores are obtained from the death of demons, and that core core is cursed. Everyone who had that item in their hands was erased from this world along with their entire family. This makes the leader ask, and what's the problem with that? He gives a big smile and says that something like that would never curse him, until suddenly we hear a crash. The office wall has just been destroyed, leaving a giant hole in it. On the other side of the wall, a boy was visible, and we already know that this boy is Young-woo. Confidently, the spoiled son comes to the location, mocking the situation. All the party guests praised him for defeating the protagonist, which made him ask his beloved Yuhara what she thought, since now she doesn't have to be afraid of the protagonist anymore. She asks what he's talking about since she never said she was afraid of him. Furthermore, she says the boy still hasn't lost. The skeptical boy points and says he took the blood iron fist directly. At the very least, he will be unconscious for hours. This leads the girl to ask if he wants to make a bet. This leaves the boy completely shocked since he knows that Yuhara has the eyes of God, which is an ability to see the condition of her opponents. And this immediately made him turn around and come face to face with our protagonist completely unharmed. This scared him a lot. The protagonist says letting him hit him was his birthday present, which leaves the boy incredulous. This was the least he could do for a 7-year-old boy after reincarnating numerous times. However, letting himself be hit once is one thing, challenging him is a completely different story. He comes at full speed, saying it's his turn now. He says he'll do this so that the boy never challenges him again. Until he finally reached the boy's head, the entire building shook. This tremor could be felt even in the office where his father was, asking if they were still fighting. The assistant questions whether the leader really plans to go to the children's party, and he says he's just curious to see who his son is facing. The assistant warns that he's interested in the Fisher core and asks what he plans to do with it, which makes the leader completely angry, saying he doesn't want to hear about it anymore. Then the assistant says he only says that because he knows nothing about the Fisher core, right? That's why their clan's name is so dirty lately. People say they are known for being brutish without brains. This makes the leader disdain the situation. Then the assistant informs that the former owner of the Fisher core was the head of the Singulars Association, which even impresses the clan leader. It seems that 2 years ago, after his family was wiped out, he entered a fissure alone and obtained his core. After that, the Fisher core only ended up in the hands of selected individuals, but they were all eliminated, including their families, and that's why it's called the Cursed Fisher Core. So, the assistant asks if the leader thinks he could have defeated the former leader of the Singulars, and he says that's not something that can be easily calculated, especially because he died without even showing his strength. Then, will the leader continue to ignore the Fisher core, even knowing all this? Until suddenly, the leader says that actually he thinks he lost the core, which leaves the assistant completely panicked. Back at the party, all the children were also in a panic. This is because our protagonist lost again. Everyone at the party was impressed with his strength, but the girl noticed something different. The aura of the leader's son was completely different. The girl was very scared. The leader's son's look was devilish. Quickly, she warns everyone at the party to run away. At the same time, outside, that singular investigator was about to enter. He came to see if this is where that boy lives. According to his information, he must be the son of the leader of the Golden River clan. Inside, the confusion was huge. The boy was completely taken by hatred. The girl even tried to ask him to calm down, calling his name and reinforcing the request for calm, but he was completely insane, and this made her very afraid. The protagonist understood the girl's abilities and said that if she continues developing her powers, she may become a problem in the future. The insane boy says he will kill anyone who gets in his way, making the girl scream for the protagonist to immediately flee from this place. Until she was hit in the face, the boy hit her so hard that she collided with the wall. There was no sanity left in this boy now. She was almost losing consciousness. In her mind, she even asked for help from her father and mother. In fact, she wanted anyone to save her. While the boy came towards her continuously, suddenly, this boy was sent flying to the side, until she finally lost consciousness. The one who made the boy fly was the protagonist with a wicked smile, coming up to him, striking again now with great force, almost made him lose consciousness in a single blow. And at that moment, he began to remember that he won the school tournament just to please his father, and when that happened, he went to show the trophy to his father. His father told him not to brag about something he should win anyway, which broke the poor boy's motivation. But in the end, obviously, he praised, saying that his son did a good job. This left the boy very happy, and that was the reason for his current frustration. The one in his way now is the protagonist. He was getting up completely crazed by his anger until he took a punch in the mouth. The protagonist kicked with so much force that he bounced off the wall, and the protagonist told him to stop complaining about being beaten since it's his weakness. This makes the boy laugh, saying that indeed the weak cannot complain. In the next instant, he was on top of the protagonist and kicked with great force. Young-woo went flying and collided with the wall, and the boy kept coming out, saying that indeed the weak should take a beating from the stronger. Back at the leader's office, they were searching for the Fisher core. During this process, he questioned what kind of curse could affect even the leader of the Singulars Association. The assistant says he doesn't know exactly, but it seems that the cursed Fisher cores can control the user's souls. A cursed Fisher core can possess the spirit and turn the user into a demon. And at that moment, Young-woo was taking a beating. The boy even questioned, asking how it feels for him to take a beating from someone stronger. This boy always wanted to defeat Young-woo, even on the day when the Fisher core called him to touch it, warning that it would give him the power. He always wanted to defeat that person, and the boy really touched the Fisher core. Now, laughing evilly, he says he has the power to defeat anyone, and then he will defeat Young-woo and make his father proud. But our Young-woo starts laughing at the situation, leaving the boy puzzled. Young-woo says he is laughing at this person inside trying to play the leader's son, which made the boy come at him, trying to hit him, but he dodged. He held the boy's head and slammed him against the wall. He even called him a pathetic insect. Young-woo says he was referring to the parasite inside his body taking control, which made the boy turn to try to strike, but he held his arm and delivered a powerful kick to his back. The demon taking over the body felt all the pain along with the body until someone approached. The demon himself noticed that this boy is completely crazy. He is the true monster here. The demon that took over the body thought it was impossible to defeat Young-woo with this child's body and needed a better body, when suddenly that investigator from the Singulars appeared at the scene. He arrived asking if the child named Kang-chun, the leader's son, lives here, until the demon threw himself at the guy, hugging him. At that moment, the guy didn't understand anything until the transformation began. His eyes were now completely red, and his voice changed, saying that he feels much better now, even looking at Young-woo and saying that now everything is over. At this exact moment, the leader of the Golden River clan arrived in this room. Seeing the state his son was in, he panicked and asked if it was the guy standing there who left his son in this deplorable state. On the other hand, the demon said he was in a bad mood and told the leader to get out of his sight before it's too late. This also left the leader completely furious, asking if he was a little nervous. He quickly began to be taken over by immense fury, and in the next instant, he was in front of the demon using the Heavenly Annihilation Strike. There was a huge explosion at the scene. The demon was meters away, insulting the leader and was incapacitated. He could only continue insulting and saying that he would not let him get away with it, until he was surprised because the leader of the Golden River clan was again right in front of him and used his Heavenly Annihilation Strike again, making even the Fisher core come out of the Singular's body. The assistant immediately noticed that it was the core and shouted for the clan leader to recover that Fisher core quickly. The leader, understanding the situation, says he will do what he said, but the core disappeared the next moment. In fact, Young-woo took the core. The assistant warns that this is dangerous. He must release the stone and take it to a safe place quickly. But while the demon inside the stone begged for redemption, our Young-woo said goodbye to her. The demon tried to propose that it would give him a lot of power, but it doesn't make sense for her to propose something she doesn't even have. And then Young-woo destroyed the stone. The clan leader was shocked, saying that this was a big waste. But it seems there's no turning back from this. As time passed, the wounded were taken to the hospital. Now, treating the leader's son, the assistant asks if he remembers what happened yesterday. The boy says he only has memories of when the party started, which leads the assistant to understand that he was really controlled by the cursed Fisher core. The boy stays there crying, saying that his birthday party was completely ruined, until he says he also remembers getting a beating from Young-woo, and the assistant says that must have been just a nightmare. So the boy asks where his father is when suddenly the whole building starts shaking again, which left them very worried. Outside the mansion, you can see a guy flying out and falling right at the feet of the leader of the Golden River clan. Who did this was our little Young-woo. The guy who had just been thrown got up and apologized to his father, but instead of reprimanding him, the leader says that this little boy really defeated his son during the birthday party. Young-woo just questions if he is really accusing him of that, and somehow, he connected the dots and understood that his son was also under the control of the Fisher core. In other words, his son was fighting before that Singular entered the place. That's why he asked him to fight with his other son he wanted to test, and that's the reason why his son, who was considered a talent before even turning 15, was easily defeated by Young-woo, which made him smirk. The leader also smiles maliciously, saying he liked Young-woo's smile and proposes that they have a training fight. The second son tells him not to do that he is just a child and a friend of the youngest son, but the leader of the Golden River clan insists. Will you accept accept or not, kid? In the second son's mind, he hoped that the little boy wouldn't accept since he would be killed by his father. But the little boy gives a smile, asking if he doesn't need to pay anything for this. What made the second son freeze instantly? The leader of the Golden River clan burst into laughter. He loved the answer, and he says that the most important thing in a fight is power and courage. A genuinely powerful person is one who has both the power and the courage to support them, and Young-woo somehow sympathizes with his idea. The leader then asks if he is afraid of the superpower he possesses, and Young-woo says that he actually isn't, which makes him open a wide smile, saying that's great. Young-woo immediately asks if he is apprehensive about having to use his superpower to deal with a child, and coming at full speed, he says of course. Young-woo dodges the first blow, which makes him come with a very long sequence of blows, and when he realizes that Young-woo had no more space, he comes up using his celestial dragon fist technique. The youngest son and the assistant were running to the scene to prevent his father from going too far. He never imagined that the master would test the strength of a 7-year-old in person, until suddenly someone goes flying and explodes on the wall next to them, and that someone was the clan leader, who fell completely unconscious. The leader of the Golden River clan was crushed by a 7-year-old, and this was the hole left in the wall after this duel, and with that, 10 years passed. At this exact moment, Young-woo was returning to this place, now much older, saying that it has been more than 10 years since he made this hole in the wall. It seems we had a little time skip here, folks. The leader's youngest son was now also older and asked what Young-woo was doing there. Young-woo just questions how long they're going to keep the wall like this, and the boy says that his father doesn't let him fix that wall in any way. Even the father himself says why would he fix that wall? This hole is a reminder of the first defeat he had in his life. Young-woo warns that it's not something to boast about, and he says that he really can't brag about losing to a 7-year-old, but he doesn't see a problem with that, because he knows that Young-woo is really monstrous. Until suddenly, the clan leader was already on top of Young-woo with his fist crackling. He delivers a downward strike called Thunder Strike. This electrocutes his youngest son, who was nearby. The leader boasts that this is the divine chi that Young-woo gave him. The youngest son asks his father to cancel his power before it kills him, until he finally realizes and apologizes for doing that. The poor guy fell to the ground powerless. He even warns his father not to go around using his divine chi carelessly, which makes the father apologize, saying he can't contain such power. The assistant says he shouldn't get so emotional like that since the divine chi wasn't free, and this leads Young-woo to ask if he really sold it for money back then. The assistant says he sold it for nothing less than 10 billion won, which leaves Young-woo completely surprised, not remembering doing that, which starts to make the assistant furious with him. The assistant says they wanted to buy the divine chi at the time, 10 years ago, but he said that if they didn't give him 10 billion won, he would sell it to another clan. Young-woo kind of uses the excuse that he needed money at the time, and that it's only 10 billion, not much, but the assistant reminds him that besides 10 billion being a lot, they also appointed him as the vice leader of the Golden River clan after transferring the divine chi, and of course, for becoming the vice leader of this clan, he started earning an annual salary of 300 million won as a reward for part-time work. The leader says they don't need to argue over past nonsense. The only thing that matters is that the clan is much stronger, and it's all thanks to Young-woo, until suddenly, we see someone calling Young-woo dear. A girl comes running and throws herself, hugging Young-woo. He tells her to call him Appa and asks who told her to call him dear like that. This girl is Lee Hyerin, the youngest daughter of the leader of the Golden River clan, and she immediately points to her father, saying it was him. And the impressive thing is that he stays there all happy, giving a thumbs up. He even affirms that he will do everything possible to make him his son-in-law. He will make sure to make his youngest daughter Young-woo's wife. But in Young-woo's head, this is madness. The girl is only 10 years old. She shouldn't be thinking about that now. But the leader keeps telling him to take good care of his daughter and not forget that Young-woo's mother and his wife are best friends. This makes Young-woo say that if he starts blackmailing him, he will give the old man another beating like in the old times, which makes him suggest that his dear son-in-law wants to beat up his father-in-law, which makes Young-woo furious, saying he's not his son-in-law. The leader says he's not yet, but in the future he will be, right? This makes Young-woo say that he still can't see the future, but at this moment, in the head of the leader of the Golden River clan, he knows that even having obtained the divine chi, the power difference between him and Young-woo hasn't changed at all. All of this makes the clan leader say that Hyerin should grow up quickly and grab him before the other girls, and she says to leave it to her. But the future of our protagonist, we still don't know. You'll only find out if I bring the next part of this video, and if you leave a like and subscribe to help. So the video ends here. See you next time. Bye bye.